Welcome to my show. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. And make sure you ring that bell twice. Okay, enjoy the show. Okay, so the latest ploy that's out there, and I shouldn't say the latest because it's really the same old routine that they've been trying before again and again and again. And it's becoming just repetitive and predictable. But what they are rehashing now is this whole community chick. And it's in the scrolls. Basically, the community can be held hostage as long as you care about it less than the men. Something to that effect. I have to reread the scrolls to understand it. But okay, here's the thing. The civil rights era really changed the thinking in black women. What it did was it introduced a new technique of seduction that really shouldn't exist. A man should not choose a woman based on her willingness to support the community. So you have a bunch of women who were out there taking a German Shepherd and taking the hose and all that stuff, and then the guys were to say, okay, this is a choice woman. This woman is valuable based on her dedication to community activism. But you see, many of those women, and this is something that I have the ability of hindsight, and they probably didn't foresee this. Maybe some did and acted accordingly. Listen, if a woman is focused on the community before she is focused on her family, then that should be an extraordinary red flag because a community is an extension of families. So, say you have like a college student or something, a female college student, a black female college student, and she's out there, rah 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 rah, community, we got to do the community, and then she hasn't secured a husband, she hasn't seduced one, she hasn't secured a husband, a father, or anything like that. She has no family. So what is she fighting for? Well, comes to find out, she's fighting for her own community that is independent of the men. You see, these women think that community is something that you take from and you don't really give to. What do women generally give to communities? They give children to a community. What are you to do without children in a functioning community but to take from it? Everything that most people build is for the future. Read the children. However, without families, you're just there grubbing from it. You're just there taking from it. You're going to, as you age, you're going to start taking things like Social Security. It's just like gimme, 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 not give anything. You can't have a functioning community without families. And those without families who talk this community talk it's just talking. It's just talking. The most valuable thing a woman can do for the community is not march, is not rally, is not organize, is not structure anything. Those things help, but once you've secured a family. See, when you look at other organizations, and I always use this example, like MAD, Mothers Against Drunk Driving, these are mothers, and in most cases wives, who are against drunk driving. They secured a family, they secured, a lot of things, and with their spare time, they say, okay, I want to eliminate drunk driving for the future, for the children. These are women who, at a very young age, has said, okay, my plan is to secure a family, to make myself the most appealing mate to a man. And then once I have that down and I have the family, then I become a community activist, read PTA, etc., etc., etc. Most organizations that are for the advancement of, black people or something like that, most of these organizations are not, I repeat, are not for the family. We already seen the original manifesto of BLM and how they wanted to take down the traditional standard patriarchal family structure and replace it with the El Gibbet structure or something like that. So they want to reform the community to fit their individual needs. They don't want to have a functioning community. It's never for a traditional family. It's never for children or anything like that. So when you have a person talking about community without talking about family, dismiss me. Their intentions are not pure. Their intentions are disingenuous. Why do I bring this up? So on Aiko Gimia's channel, I was speaking to a woman. I'm going to assume that she's unmarried and very likely childless and things like that, but that's neither here nor there because it's an individual thing. And I'm really speaking more towards the tactic. And she talked about something that she has dubbed as mental slavery. That these men are mentally enslaved and we're mentally enslaved, so we have to galvanize like we did in 1965 to fight mental slavery. Now, if she's talking about one group of people influencing another, then I would just say cut the influence. But again, that is something that's done on the family level, and I would have no problem with that. For example, if a group of wife mothers were to get together with other wife mothers and monitor their children's media intake, make sure that they watch movies, shows, cartoons, etc., 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 before they allow their children to do so, so the children won't become quote unquote mentally enslaved, then I'm all for that. I am. I'm all for that. But that's not what's being suggested because it's not coming from the point of view of somebody who believes in family first. Comes from the point of view of someone who believes that community comes before family. In fact, a community is a gateway to securing a family. So this is just her way of saying slavery, you're still a slave, and therefore we have to be freedom fighters. We're in this together. We will get together and fight against anybody because what you need is a brother at arms, not a wife. Listen, you want to overcome anything, get me a sandwich. Getting me a sandwich is the first step to overcoming something. What do I mean by that? If you ever go to any of the WS sites, right? What they fear most, and this is particularly from Latin groups or immigrant populations, etc., 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 is being outbred. Is the thought that for every one child they have, another group is having two children, and then 3 generations, they're no longer the majority. That is what they worry about most. That not only will this group breed in higher numbers, group or groups, making them a minority, but they will also breed quality children. They will also breed children that are more competitive to them in the workplace than them in the workplace. Like the Oriental people that are taking over Harvard right now. They worry about things like that. They worry about being outnumbered, and not as a physical threat. No, just the ability to have the numbers to influence the vote in the cultural landscape is enough. But they don't really worry about that for us. because our women have been, let's just say, neutralized in the sense that they rarely, if ever, breed because they're out living their best life. And if they do breed, they're typically not going to be effective mothers to those children because they're out living their best life. It's interesting when the same group of people who talk about living their best life also talk about community. You ever notice that? What kind of community is a woman building when she waits till she's, when she has 3 eggs left to start having kids and start considering family and things like that? No, it's not that they want a healthy community. They can give a damn about that. They want you to want it. Why? Because they feel that they are the only ones that can give you that. They come to you like, oh, yes, the struggle. Only I understand the struggle, so you need to get with me. Like, yeah, but what about the weight? Oh, yeah, don't worry about that. But what about the age? Why did you wait so long? Yeah, don't worry about that. Ignore all of the stuff and just focus on the struggle and then get with me at a time that's convenient for me, at an age that is convenient for me, at a circumstance that is convenient for me, at a weight that is convenient for me. See how that works? Don't be blinded by the struggle, fellas. Don't let these chicks manipulate you into thinking that you are a slave while trying to enslave you. This is Game Changer 00100. Game over. Peace.